So good morning, everyone. So here in the previous class, so we have seen how to work with this. So I said about what is this? Progressive operations or cumulative operations, and we have seen all these functions. So after this, we have seen how to perform. Yeah, this is about matrix operations. I said about matrix class, how to work with the matrix class, and then we have seen data type parameters. And we have done some arithmetic operations. Now see, these are the arithmetic operations, what you can perform on matrix. Hmm. So here, these are the arithmetic operations we have seen in the last class. Yes. Not only that, you can also perform other operations. So you can also perform other operations here. So what are the other operations you can perform on it, right? Now, whenever you talk about matrix, so these are the examples. As I mean, in the last class, we have not copied. So I just given this as an example. So, right. Hmm. Now you can also perform other operations, like suppose you are creating a matrix. So these are other operations which you can perform on the matrix. For example, I created one matrix with number of rows and columns. So here, so it is having number of rows and columns. For example, assume that this is a matrix. And this matrix one is having some 2 rows and 3 columns. This matrix one is having 2 rows and 3 columns. Okay. So when you run this, now you can see this is a matrix with some 2 rows and 3 columns. Now here I separate again with 7, 8, and 9. So this is a square matrix like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now this matrix is having some attributes. I am writing matrix 1 dot T. If I'm writing matrix 1 dot T, and T is nothing but here transpose. If you want to find the transpose of a matrix, you can just use an attribute called which one? T. So the matrix is having an attribute called T. So these are other matrix operations. These are other matrix operations. These are other matrix operations. So in other matrix operation, the first one is what here? Transpose. Transpose of a matrix. And you can find the transpose of a matrix by using one attribute. You can use one attribute, and what is the name of the attribute is T. T is an attribute, or you can also use the function called transpose. You can also use the function called transpose. So this is one function called transpose function. You can use it. So matrix dot transpose. So the transpose of matrix is obtained by interchanging its rows and columns, which means, which flips the matrix over diagonals. If the original matrix has dimension of m by n, a transpose will have n by m. So the transpose of matrix A is denoted by using A T, or it can be A transpose. Okay. So this is what is the meaning of transpose here. So it will change. M is nothing but number of rows and N is nothing but number of columns. M is nothing but number of rows and N is nothing but number of columns. If the original matrix is having a dimension of so M by N, a transpose will have the dimension, okay, which is nothing but N by M. So the transpose of the matrix is commonly denoted by using AT or A transpose. Now this can be done by using a function here. See, this is how it is done. But what is a function which is used for transpose is, so you can use an attribute. What is the name of the attribute you can use? T. So that is nothing but matrix dot, matrix object name dot, matrix object name dot transpose. Or you can use what here? T. So T is the name of the attribute, and this will return another matrix. This will return another matrix, and this another matrix is called transpose of the matrix 1. I am writing here matrix 2. Now if you see the matrix 2, now this is 1, 2, 3. Yes. So this is a transpose here. This is a transpose. Now you can see 1, 2, 3, and next is 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9. Suppose you take another matrix, that is a matrix 3 equal to np dot matrix with 1 space 2 space 3 and 4 space 5 space 6. So this is a matrix 3 having 2 rows and 3 columns. See here. Now if you see the matrix of, if you see the transpose of matrix 3, you are writing matrix 3 dot T. If you are writing matrix 3 dot matrix 3 dot so matrix 3, and there is one more matrix called matrix 4. So here matrix 4 is the transpose of which one? Matrix 3. If you see this matrix here, now you can see, so this is nothing but 1, 2, 3, and this is nothing but what? 4, 5, 6. So you can find the transpose of the matrix by just using one attribute called which one? T. So T is an attribute. T is an attribute that returns the transpose of the matrix. And if you want to inverse a matrix, if you want to inverse the matrix, you can use a method called inverse. So you have a method called what? Inverse. Inverse of the matrix. You can find out by using inverse. So there is a function called inverse. NumPy dot, or you can use inverse. So that is nothing but finding the inverse of the matrix. So you can use to calculate the inverse of the matrix, Python uses NumPy library, that is np dot linear algebra dot inversion function is used. Now here, now you have to first define the matrix, create a NumPy array representing the matrix for which you want to find the inversion. So this matrix must be which matrix here? Square matrix. That is equal number of rows and columns. And non-singular means a determinant must not be what here? Zero. So it should not be a zero here, right? So here, now you can calculate this. You can calculate this by using a method or by using a function called which one? Inverse. So there is an operation called which one? Inverse. Inverse of matrix. How can you find the inverse of the matrix? By using another library, another module to calculate the inverse of the matrix in Python using the NumPy library. So NumPy dot linear algebra dot inverse. You can also use matrix dot inverse method. You can also use matrix dot inverse method. But if you want to find the inverse of the matrix, now the matrix must be which matrix? Square matrix. And at the same time, you have to see that the determinant of this matrix should not be equal to what? Zero. Whenever you are finding the inverse of the inverse of the matrix should be what? The number of rows and columns must be equal. And at the same time, the determinant of this matrix should not be equal to what? Zero. It should not be equal to zero. Now you have to import numpy dot linear algebra dot, what is the name of the function is inverse. You can also write a matrix object dot. You can also write a matrix object name dot. Okay. What is the name of the method is inverse. Any one you can use it. And here you have to apply or you have to send which array? ND array. You have to send which object here? ND array object. Here you have to send ND array object because this is a function. Here inverse is what? Function. Here you have to send what? Object. But here you don't require to send the object. You simply use which method? Inverse method. You don't require to send the object. Suppose if I'm writing like this, I'm taking one array. So import np numpy dot, or already we import np, right? So there is a matrix and this is square matrix. I'm creating one square matrix here, 1, 2, 3, and now 4, 5, 6, then 7, 8, and 9. So this is which matrix here? Square matrix with number of rows and columns. So what is the shape of this array is 3 by 3. Means how many rows and how many columns are there? 3 rows and 3. So it means this is which matrix here? Square matrix. It is a square matrix. And at the same time, now you should see that the determinant should not be equal to what? 0. So what I'm doing is I'm writing inverse b equal to np dot linear algebra dot. What is the name of the function is inverse of which one? A. Inverse of A. Inverse of A, uh, np dot. Yeah, now this is, now what is the error is? So it is given the error saying that now this matrix is singular matrix. So it is given now determinant should, whenever you are talking about this matrix must be a square matrix. that is equal number of rows and columns, and it should be non-singular. It means its determinant should not be equal to what? 0. But when you find the determinant of this matrix, okay, it is equal to what? 0. Because of that, immediately it is given what here? Error. So the rule is whenever you are finding the inverse of the matrix, you have to see that that matrix should be what? Square matrix, and it should be non-singular. It should be what? Non-singular. So that can be done by finding it. Now you can just take a matrix with number of rows and columns. A simple example, if you see, this is inverse. Let me, so even you can find the determinant of the matrix. I'll take here, the elements are like this. So what are the elements I've taken here? 1, 2, 3. We'll take a simple one. So that is some 2 rows and 2 columns. So now you can see this is the inverse of this matrix. That is minus 1.66 and 0.66 and 1.33 and minus 0.33. Now this you can call it as inverse of which one? A. So you can find the inverse by using this, and you can also find the transpose by using the same library np dot linear algebra dot inverse. What is a transpose? You can also use this transpose of which one? A. Now this is also find the transpose of which one? C. If you run this transpose trans. Now what is the method name is trans. Capital T, right? One minute. Capital T you can use, but there is also method in linear algebra. What is the name of the method? Is transpose only. Here also you have a method called transpose. In linear algebra also you have a method transpose. Inverse. Transpose is there. Okay, let it be. Now you can also use the method, attribute called which one? T. So this is inverse of the matrix. So you can find the inverse of the matrix by just using one method called which one? Inverse. Okay, right? So this is a simple example here. Yes. Now, these are different operations which you can do on the NumPy array. So whenever you are working with the NumPy, now what we discussed till now, I'm just giving a summary here. So first we started with what is NumPy. See here, these are the things what we discussed till now. We started with what is NumPy, and then we started with what is the advantage. Advantage of using what? NumPy. So why we are using NumPy? And third one we discuss is applications of NumPy, means where this NumPy is used. And after that, I said how to install. How to install which library? NumPy library. How to install the NumPy library. And after that, I said about the difference between list and ND array. I said the difference between list and ND array. And sixth one is we started with ND array object, and I said about ND array object attributes. ND array object what? Attributes. And we discuss about ND array data types. We discuss about ND array data types. Okay. And at the same time, we discuss about shape of the array object. Okay, how to modify the shape of the array. And even we discuss about creating or the functions used for creating ND array or array object. Functions used for creating array object. Now we have seen so many functions. Okay, I said about a range function. I said about linspace function. I said about log space function. I said about zeros function. I said about ones function. And I said about full function. I said about the function called which one? I said about np dot random dot rand function. I said about np dot random dot random integer function. np dot random dot. I said about random dot. There is a function called universal distribution, right? Normal distribution we have seen, and what is a universal distribution? Then after that, I said about broadcasting. I said about broadcasting, and I said what is that reshaping an array? Okay, how to do the reshaping of array? Then after that, I said about cumulative or aggregate operations of array. Okay, and after that, I said about progressive operations. So progressive operations of the array. See here. And after that, we have seen vector operations. How can you perform vector operations? Vector operations, I said about. Then I said about this matrix operations. Okay, now all this we'll discuss. All this we discussed till now, right? All these things. I said what is NumPy, advantage of using NumPy, applications of NumPy, and creating ND array object that is 2D. I said about how to represent 1D, how to represent 2D, how to represent what? 3D. How to represent 1D, 2D, and what is that? 3D, right? 13, okay, 14, 15, 16, right? Okay, now this many topics we have seen. Now there is one more topic is there, and that topic is belongs to what do you call it as linear algebra, right? So how can you solve the linear equations by using NumPy? Okay, how to solve the linear equations using NumPy? So how can you solve the linear equations using NumPy, right? But in this only you have a lot of things like when you're talking about this array creation functions or broadcasting or reshaping and doing which one? Aggregate operations and progressive operations, vector operations and matrix operations, right? Now there is one more thing you have that is nothing but linear equations. How can you solve the linear equations? Okay, that is done by using one library. And what is that predefined library it provides is linear algebra. What is the name of the module is? Linear algebra. So this is predicting the values. That is when you're talking about linear equations, which is having single variable and which is having what? Two variables or n variables, right? Then how can you solve this kind of problems? You can solve it by using one library called linear algebra. So before talking about linear equations, what I want to tell you is first, now that chapter will see it. This linear equations chapter will say it because we have seen a lot of things related with what? NumPy, right? So let us move into another library. I mean, before talking about linear equations. I'll tell you linear equations, don't worry, because continuously we are learning this only, right? You might feel bored. Okay, that's the reason. What I'll tell you is, I just go for another library here. And what is the name of the library is Pandas will start. So that you'll get some interest. Because NumPy means only matrices. Yes or no? NumPy means only matrices. But if you want to work with data analysis, like the way how you do when you work with the database, like reading, grouping, aggregating, summarizing, okay, all this you can do it most of the times using which one? Pandas. Here you can develop some applications. Here you can develop some applications, but here you just learn. That's it. But applications means where you do it. When you go for what do you call it as deep learning? In deep learning, you work with what? Images. In images, you can apply all these operations. In images, you can apply all these operations. But I cannot tell you about this, right? But this is very easy. Pandas, it is very interesting, and you try to do what? Data analysis. Okay, data summarization and finding the insights from the data, accessing some information from the data is done by using which library? Pandas. So I'll tell you linear equations also, because continuously we are learning this, right? So linear equations, I'll tell you as a separate chapter. Okay, na? So, but let me talk about another library. And what is the name of the library here? Pandas. So Pandas means Pandas, Python data analysis. The name is what here? Pandas, right? Pandas means Python data analysis, but some people says panel data system. Panel data system, or it can be what? Python data analysis. It is one of the powerful tool, and it is one of the powerful library which is used for data analysis, or business analysis, is done by using which one? Pandas. Pandas is not only for data analysis, it is also used for data visualization also. Pandas is not only for data analysis. After analyzing the data, how you display the data? See, data can be displayed in two formats. One is table format. Okay. One more is what? One more is what? Chart. Chart are the same thing. You can call it as which one? Graph. So you can represent the output in how many formats? Different formats. One is it can be directly plain text, or it can be tabular format, or it can be in the form of chart. It can be tabular format, or it can be in the form of chart, right? So let me talk about this. What is pandas and what is the advantage of using pandas, and where this pandas is used? Where this pandas is used, we'll discuss all these things. Okay, right? So NumPy is for which analysis? Numerical analysis. But pandas is for which analysis? Data analysis. NumPy is for which analysis? Numerical analysis. Numerical analysis. Numerical analysis means when you are working with which operations? When you are working with which operation? Matrices. When you are working with which one? Vectors. When you are working with, like suppose, I said no, image processing, image processing, or when you are working with Fourier transformation, all these things can be done by using which one? NumPy. All these things can be done by NumPy. Even when you are working with what? Linear algebra. All these operations you can do it by using which one? NumPy. But Pandas is completely different than which one? NumPy. So every data scientist or data analyst or business analyst must have a knowledge of which one? Pandas. Now here we'll do one application or one case study in pandas, not in numpy, but will develop in which one? Pandas. Okay. Yes. So we'll try to see one simple case study on pandas. Numpy is not end. Did I said end? Did I said end? Numpy is completed. I said. Huh? Why you write your own script here? Huh? I said one topic is there. I said no. What is the 17th topic? Huh? Linear algebra. बोला मैं क्या यार पढ़ना कम रहता है सोचना ज्यादा रहता है आप लोग हाँ okay right one more chapter is there and what is that chapter is linear also whatever you do here you implement here okay right yes yeah then next is so here I'm saying what is pandas कुछ बोले तो अब बुरा मानते हैं यार आप लोग हाँ yes or no जब से बोल रहा ना मैं क्या बोला यार I said you have one topic. What is the topic? Linear equations. Did I said or not? Yes. फिर क्यों बोल रहे हैं यार मैं ताली बजाओ बोल के बोला क्या Yes. What is pandas? So pandas is what now? Language, library. Pandas is a library, and people says this is what tool. Okay, pandas is a library, or it is also called as which one? Tool. Tool. It is called as a tool. It is called as what? Tool. Pandas is a library or it is also called one tool. So pandas. So different definitions are there. Pandas stands for Python data. Python data. What is that? Analysis. Python data analysis. Right? Python data analysis. Is it correct? A Python data analysis or it is also called a panel. It is also called panel data system. Panel data system or Python data analysis. Okay. Anything you can understand here. So pandas is one of the popular library, one of the third party, it is not provided by Python. Pandas is one of the third party library used for data analysis. It is used for data analysis. Data analysis. It is used for what? Data analysis. Data analysis means as a data scientist or data analyst, you perform certain operations on data. As a data analyst or business analyst, you perform certain operations on data. Data, see, data is very important here. So whenever you're talking about data scientist, okay, AI engineer, okay, what is required here? Data. Data is very important here. So this data is used by data scientist. This data is used by what? AI builder or AI engineer. But how they give this data? From there, where you get the data? You get the data from different sources. After getting the data, what this data they do it? They load the data. So loading data is done, and next is what? Pre-processing is done. Pre-processing data, and what is that? Cleaning data. See, all these things are done by whom? Data analyst or what? Business analyst. After loading the data, because the data can be either it can be a structured or it can be what? Unstructured. It can be a structured or it can be unstructured. So you load the data, then you'll prepare the data. Cleaning, data cleaning means identifying the missing values, removing missing values. All these are done by whom? Data analyst or what? All these are done by whom? Data analyst or what? Business analyst. Before doing which one? Analysis. Data preparation is important. Data cleaning also what? Important before analyzing the data or before identifying what? Insights from the data. But all these things, how you are doing it? By using one library called which one? Pandas. So pandas is work on the top of panel data system. Yeah, I'm saying it as panel data system. Panel. Okay, here. No problem. Panel data system. And pandas is one of the third party library used for what here? Data analysis. So data analysis and pandas. Now current version of, see here, current version of pandas is some 2.3, which is I think used currently 2.3.3 something is there. You can see that when you see this pandas official library, official website. Now you can see this is which library? Data analysis library. This is for what? Data analysis. Analysis. It is used for what? Data analysis, right? So Pandas is a powerful, flexible, easy and open source data analysis and manipulation tool, which is built on the top of which language? Python programming language here. What is the latest version is some 2.3.3. This is the latest version of which one? Pandas. So Pandas used by so many companies, and I say no, it is powerful tool for what? Data analysis. Data analysis as well as what? Data manipulation. So current version of Pandas, current version of Pandas is 2.3.3. Current version of Pandas is 2.3.3. Okay, what is the advantage of using Pandas here? Okay, so why we are using a Pandas? We are using a Pandas for what? Data analysis. Why we are using a Pandas is for data analysis. Data analysis. Now, what is data analysis? What is data analysis? First, you should know this. Because Pandas is for what here? Data analysis. Pandas is for data analysis, right? Then what is data analysis? What is the meaning of data analysis? Analysis. What you are doing, you are analyzing what? Data. You are analyzing the data, you are identifying the insights from the data. That is a job of which one? Yes. That is a job of which one? Data analyst, right? So what is the job of data analyst is data analysis. What will do it? What will do it? What will do it? Data analyst, what will do it? First is, see it. What is the analyzing the data only? Analyzing the data means it consists of lot of things. Analyzing data cannot be done directly without organizing the data, identifying the data, replacing the data, deleting the data. You do a lot of things to analyze or to get proper structure of what? Data. That is done by whom? Data analyst or business analyst. Here, what is data analysis? What is data analysis? right? What is data analysis? So data analysis is a process of inspecting, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data to discover what? Useful information. And this information is helpful in making what? Decision. Or it involves applying some statistical and logical techniques to interpret the data, and is used in what? Business or data science or social sciences, or finding patterns or predicting what? Certain outcomes, and making what? Inform informed decisions. All this done by which one? Data analysis. So data analysis is process of inspecting the data. You are inspecting the data and cleaning the data, transforming the data, and modeling data to discover what? Useful information that can be helpful in making what here? Decisions, or that can be helpful to perform which operations? Statistical operations, and that can be helpful to apply which one? Logical technique to interpret the data used in business or science or social sciences. All this done by whom? Data analyst. What is the role of data analyst? Is data analysis. If you take a simple example, if you take COVID, COVID analysis. For example, if you take simple one, COVID analysis. Suppose the central government, assume that central government, they want to analyze which information COVID in it. The central government wants some COVID information. Then they'll give this task to whom? A business analyst, or what is that? Data analyst. What he'll do? He'll collect the data. What he'll do here? He'll collect data. He'll collect the data from different places. He collect the data from different places. So what central government want? Some decision. They want to take some decision. Assume that they want to take some decision whether to continue vaccination or to stop vaccination. What is the decision? Is to continue the vaccination or to stop vaccination. They want to take this decision. How they take this decision? They cannot take the decision directly, right? Will they take the decision directly? No, they don't take the decision what? Directly. But they take the decision based on which one? They take the decision based on which one? Data. Data. Now, this data analyst or business analyst, what he'll do is he'll collect all the data from different states. And that data, you can call it as which one? Samples. That data is called as which one? Samples. Now, collecting complete data is called which one? Collection. So from collection, you are trying to use what? Certain samples, and use these samples. Now load. Now this is nothing but reading data, collecting data. First, what he'll do? He'll collect the data. What he will do first? He'll collect the data. After collecting the data, next what he'll do? So data analysis is nothing but inspecting the data. After collecting the data, he'll try to inspect the data. He'll try to inspect the data. Inspecting data consists of lot of things. So that is nothing but identifying the data. This data is belongs to what? Identifying the data, inspecting the data, identifying the data, which data is for what, and generating a relationship among what? Data. That is nothing but what? Inspecting the data. And third one is third one is cleaning data. Means you will try to identify some missing values, and that missing values you may replace it, or that missing values you may delete it. That is nothing but data cleaning. That is nothing but what? Data cleaning. And after that, you transform this data. Transform this data, and this data is used to apply which operations? Some statistical operations you apply it. What operations? Suppose you want to know how many people are taken vaccination which are greater than some 20 years age. You want to find the uh, how many people are taken vaccination which is greater than 60 age? How many people are taken vaccination between 30 and what is that? 50? How many people are taking vaccination between 60 and 70? Now finding all this, now people will, this government will take what here? Decision. Whether continue vaccination or whether to stop vaccination. Correct or not? Whether to continue or whether stop. Whether to continue or whether to stop. Now it is nothing but advanced predictions only. Getting or not? So, but how you are finding all this? By applying some statistical operation. For example, a player is there, cricket player is there. Now, board of control, BCCI, right? Board of control, they want to take one decision whether to take this player or not. Whether to take this player or not. How they make the decision? They take the decision based on this player performance or not. What analysis they do? Analysis, or they'll take directly? They'll do the analysis. They'll do the analysis, right? Whether to take this player or not. So this player data, they collect it. This player data is collected or not? Yes, this player data is collected, and after collecting the data, they analyze it. What is that? He played how many matches? How many matches he played? Total number of matches. How many matches is played? And what is the average? What is the average? Calculate now. Total runs, average, how many 50s, how many hundreds. Okay, and analysis is done based on lot of things. Analysis is done based on lot of things. Now, based on this data, I'll try to decide whether to take this player or not. Whether to take this player or not. Suppose there is a match between two countries. There is a match between two countries. One is India and one more is Pakistan. Now, who will win? How you predict it? Who will win? How you predict it? You predict it by taking past data. Past data means these people are playing the match in Hyderabad, right? Assume that these two countries are playing match in what? Hyderabad. Okay, right. Now, in this stadium, how many people are, how many matches are played by these two countries? How many matches are played? Okay. How many matches won by Pakistan? How many matches win by whom? India. How many matches win by Pakistan who bat first? How many matches win by India who bat what? First. How many matches win by Pakistan who bat second? How many matches win by India who bat what? Second. Okay. How many runs they scored when they bat first? How many runs the scores they scored when they bat what? Second. So by collecting all this data, what they do it? They do some analysis or not? Yes. Based on that, you identify or you predict whether India will win the match or when Pakistan. Understood? So all these things, what you required? For all these things, what you required? Data. By using pandas, you can perform EDA. What is EDA stands for? Exploratory data analysis. By using pandas, you can perform which one? EDA, which is nothing but exploratory data analysis. So that you can perform it by using which tool here? Pandas. So pandas is not only for data analysis, it is also for data visualization also. It is also based on, it is also used for data visualization also, right? So what is data analysis? Data analysis is a technique. See here, this complete definition I'm taking it. So data analysis is a process of inspecting, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data to discover useful information, conclusions, and support decision making. Information, conclusion, and support decision making. It involves this support decision making. It involves which one? Statistical and logical techniques to interpret data and used in a business. science and social sciences to find patterns and predict what here outcomes. For that, what you required? Data. But this data cannot be used directly. The raw data cannot be used directly. The data has to be what first? Inspecting. Inspecting means you identify the data and you identify the relationship between what? Data, that is nothing but what? Data inspecting, right? Then next is what? Cleaning. Cleaning the data and transforming the data and modeling the data to discover useful information. That is what is exactly the meaning of data analysis. Now you can find some here. You just see it. You find some applications. So this Kaggle is there. Kaggle is a website here. Your machine learning and data science community. This Kaggle is what? Data science community. Now if you see this, you find a lot of EDA projects here. Here you can find all the projects. This is data science community. And suppose assume that how's the prediction? How's the prediction? See here, future engineering for house prices or house prediction. I'm saying some EDA, right? You can see house price EDA and prediction. House price prediction, right? House price prediction. Now you can see all these are which projects here? EDA project. Now, house prediction Python notebook with multiple linear regression techniques. Means I said no, why I stopped at that linear equations because the same thing you can try to apply in which one? Pandas. Pandas here. House prediction using multiple linear regression. In the same way, for example, credit card fraud deduction. So credit card, if you have credit card fraud deductions here, credit card fraud deduction by using which regressions? Logistic regressions, right? But all this, for doing all this, credit card fraud deduction. For example, a person is applied the loan. For example, a person is applied the loan, then bank must take the decision, right? What is that decision is whether to give a loan or not. Okay, bank one person applied for which one? Loan. Now to the bank. Now bank make a decision like whether bank should approve the loan or reject the loan. But how they make the decision based on lot of parameters or not? Yes. Lot of parameters which you call it as data. Getting on. So they collect all the data belongs to this person. They look for which one? Credit scoring, right? They look for credit scoring. They look for past information about this. It means how many loans is taken. They collect all the data and collecting all the data, they do what? Some analysis and they take a decision whether to give the loan or not to give the loan. Give the loan or not to give the loan, right? Yes. All these, some of the applications which belongs to what? Data analysis. Okay. Now here you work with different types of data structures, right? So what are the applications? Means data, pandas is used so many places, right? Pandas is used in so many places. Now if you see the applications of this pandas, if you see the applications of pandas, the pandas is used so many ways. So I said no, like pandas, key features of pandas is what? Loading data, data cleaning and what? Pre-processing, manipulation and what is that? Transforming the data. And then what is that? Data analysis. This is what? Applying some statistical operations. And last one is what? data visualization. So for doing data analysis, what you require data? Okay, data analysis, data analysis, data analysis, data analysis includes various operations. It includes various operations, or these are which you can call it as pipeline of data analysis. What is the pipeline of this data analysis is? Now, pipeline means connecting one pipe to another. So that process can be called as what? Pipeline, right? So if you see first one is, what is the first one is? Loading data or collecting data, or what is that? Reading data. Loading data, collecting data, or reading data. What from where he'll get the data? Data can be get from, data can be get from, data can be get from different sources. Data can be get from different sources. What is the source? From where you get the data? You get the data from where? Database. You may get the data from database like what? Oracle. The data might be loaded because the data cannot be processed. See, data cannot be processed directly on hard disk. Somewhere the data has to be loaded. Yes. Oracle, or which you can call it as MySQL or SQL Server, or it can be MongoDB, which is called as NoSQL, or it can be, what is that, SQLite? Now, there are some databases. And second one is this data can be get from where? Files. Files are like which files? Text files. What are the text files is having .txt, having .csv, having .json, having what is a TIFF file, having extension XML. Okay, all these are .html, .html. HTML means now where you read the data from web. So that is nothing but web scraping. And not only that, the data can be a text files. It can be a text files. It can be a text files like .txt, .csv, .json, .t for .xml and .html, or it can be what do you call it as pickled representation of object. These objects can be which one? Pickled representation. So pickled representation means it is in which format? Bytes format. Pickled representation is nothing but what? Bytes format. The data might be in bytes format. So the data can be get from the databases, or it can be get from files, or it can be like when you work with Excel. So all this from different systems you'll get the data. It can be doc file or it can be PDF file, right? So, but the data, what it required a source. What it required is a source. Or it can be from web, collected from web. That is nothing but public data which is published on web. So that data can be read by using web scraping, right? The data can be read by using web scraping, or it can be collected by using some APIs from other applications, right? So there are different ways by using which you can collect what here? Data. It is a type of text file. It is a type of text file. Lot of types of text files are there. It is one type of text file, text format, text file or text format. After loading the data, what data analyst will do? Okay, data, what is it? Cleaning. What is doing? Data cleaning. See here, data analysis. What is a data analysis? Inspecting the data, cleaning the data. So data cleaning. Data cleaning means there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things are involved in data cleaning. That is identifying the missing values here. Identifying the missing values here, handling the missing values, handling the missing values. A lot of operations are there here. See here. How many operations like handling the missing values, removing duplicate rows and columns, renaming the columns and the rows, changing the data types of the columns, and normalizing and scaling what here? Data. All this comes under which one? Data cleaning. The same thing you call it as what? Pre-processing. Data cleaning, or it is called as data pre-processing. Data cleaning or data pre-processing, right? So this is the second step here. But how can you do all this? See here, how can you do all this? Suppose you want to handle missing data like dropping, filling and dropping and interpolating null values, replacing with some other values. Okay, removing duplicate rows and columns, renaming columns and rows, changing data types of the columns, okay, and data normalization and scaling. All this you can do it by using what? This data has to be loaded somewhere or not? Yes. Data cannot be, see, the data which is there in Excel, you cannot, or the data which is there in some text file cannot be processed directly. The data which is there in text file cannot be processed directly. This data has to be loaded from secondary to what? Primary. How you load and represent this data? By using some data, structures. By using some data structures. Now, pandas provide two powerful data structures. One is called as which one? Series. And second one is called as a data frame. So pandas come up with two powerful data structures to perform which operations? Pre-processing. You are loading the data and you are representing it as what? Data frame. So that you can handle missing data. You can remove the duplicate rows and columns. Okay, you can rename the columns and rows. You can change the type of the column and you can normalize the data. So all these things, how you are doing it? You are not doing, see, you are collecting the data from text file. But after that, if you want to perform any operation, data pre-processing means before processing the data, you have to perform certain operations. That you call it as which one? Data pre-processing. If this is not done, you don't get the result properly. Now that is called as data pre-processing or data cleaning. So is it all these operations can I do it by using pandas? Yes. All these operations I can do it using pandas because pandas support collecting data from different types of file system and it allows you to perform data pre-processing by using various approaches. After cleaning the data, next is what? Data transformation. After cleaning the data, what is the next step is data transformation is nothing but where you apply certain, where you apply some operations, that is data manipulation or data transformation, right? Suppose this is nothing but, data, what is the next one is data manipulation. It is called as data manipulation or data transforming, right? For example, you want to apply some statistical operations on collecting the samples. It's nothing but data manipulation or data transformation. Suppose you have a lot of data. Now you want to apply some statistical analysis or statistical operations on only some data. Then what do you do it? Filtering. What is the operation you can do it? Filtering. For example, you want to perform some statistical operation on group of data. Then what do you do it? You try to what? Classify the data by using which one? Grouping. So all these are nothing but which one here? Data manipulation, or this is called as data transforming. Data transforming. So data manipulation consists of a lot of things like filtering and selecting data based on the conditions and sorting the data one by one or more than one column. See here, grouping and aggregating the data, merging the data. All this comes under which one? Data manipulation. After data manipulation, next is what? Data analysis, or the same thing you can call it as what? Data exploration. Now that is nothing but calculating some descriptive statistics like mean, median, and standard deviation, identifying the outliers, like, yes, identifying the outliers, and you do some analysis like time series analysis, or it including resampling and rolling window calculations, and creating frequency distributions and what? Values count. All this comes under which one? Data analysis. Once the data is analyzed, then you display the output in the form of what? Graph or chart. And that is nothing but data visualization. It means you can put that result either in plots, that can be line plots or bar plots, or it can be what? Histogram. So all this you can do it by using which library? Pandas. I'm saying no, it is one of the important library when you are working with data science or data analysis or business analysis, right? So data manipulation consists of, see, all this you can do it. Reshaping the data using pivot table, melt, stack, and what is that? Unstack. Stack means you know it. We have seen stacking, vertical stacking, and one more is what? Horizontal stacking. Stacking is what? Concatenating or not? Yes, concatenating or joining. That you can call it as which one? Stack. Stacking, V stack, H stack. Have you seen? Append, concatenate. I have not written here. In these topics, I have not written. A lot of things missing here, right? Okay. Okay, this is what we have seen is stacking. And stacking, I said stack, V stack, H stack, append, concatenate, huh? And we have seen some mutable operations. Mutable means I said about how to append, how to insert, how to delete, how to replace data, and even I said about how to read data using various what? Approaches. What are the approaches we have seen? Index, next is what? Indexing, and next is slicing. Indexing, slicing, for loop. Then what? By using which one? Enumerate, enumerate. By using which one? Condition. I've not written all. Lot of topics we discuss. 18, 18. Lot of topics we discuss, but some of the things, yes. In indexing, again, you have multiple types of indexing. In slicing, also, you have multiple types of slicing, right? Yes. So data cleaning, and after data cleaning, data pre-processing is there. Data pre-processing. Okay, right? So all this, you can do it by using which one? Pandas. All this you can do it by using pandas. I'm telling you, you can develop a simple project or case study by using pandas. A simple case study using pandas. For example, you want to develop a case study or EDA project, data analysis project like IPL. Suppose IPL data analysis. Okay, so board of some people who conduct this year IPL. BCCI only. Okay. Who conduct, you don't know. Yes. IPL. Yes. Now suppose, um, yeah. Okay, now you want to do some IPL data analysis. BCCI only, right? Okay, BCCI. Suppose you can find this project, IPL data analysis, IPL data set or data analysis projects here. Now this analysis helpful for identifying what they can identify by analyzing this IPL data, what they can do it. What is the outcome of this project? What is the outcome of this project? See here. Before start of the IPL, each team has a pick a squad of players in the auctions. What is the analysis? Analysis. Performance analysis. How this performance analysis is done? Based on lot of parameters or not? Yes. So what is the outcome of all this is lot of things, whether to pick the player or not, pick the coach or not, whether to pick that coach or not, and how this person is engaged with the fans. Okay, something you'll get it by doing some analysis, right? See here, some description is not given, but anyway, so there are a lot of things which belongs to this. See here some project somebody is given. But I'm saying no, this is interesting because you work with the real-time data. See here are some of the specific goals of IPL dataset project in Python. Identify the most successful teams and players in the IPL and determine the factors that contribute to each team's or player success. Analyze the impact of different playing conditions on the outcome of matches. Identifying the trends in the IPL data over time and generate insights that can be used to improve the performance of IPL teams and players. So this is the outcome of which one? IPL dataset analysis or IPL dataset project. IPL dataset project. Understood? Right? So most of the times this pandas is used for what? Pandas is used for what? Data analysis. What are the basic steps in data analysis? Loading data. What is the second one is? Data cleaning or data pre-processing. What is the third one? Data manipulation or data transformation, which consists of filtering, sorting, grouping, merging, reshaping. All this comes under which one? Data transformation. And then fourth step is what now? Data analysis. This is data analysis. Now here you apply some statistical operations. Here you apply some statistical operations. Here you apply some statistical operations. Okay. And last one is data visualization. Fifth one is data visualization. This is a pipeline. And this is the advantage of using which one? Pandas. These are the features. I can say these are the features of what is the features of pandas? All these are features of pandas. It supports data collected from different formats. It provides the methods for data cleaning and data processing. It provides the methods for data manipulation and data transformation. It will provide the methods for data analysis. It will provide the methods for what? Data visualization. So pandas, yeah, you understood a pandas is separate and NumPy is what? Different. So pandas is completely related with which data? Text data, text. But if you want to analyze images, audio, video, all this, you can go for which one? NumPy. Not using which one? Pandas. But Pandas will work on the top of which one? NumPy. It means what is the dependent for Pandas is NumPy. Right? Yes. So Pandas, now if you see this Pandas, okay, Pandas setup means how to install. Installing Pandas, right? If you want to work with the Pandas, you have to install first Pandas library. And how you install it? Pip install. What is this? Pandas. Pip install Pandas. So if it is a yeah, just go to the command prompt and here you just write pip install Pandas. Or what you can do is you can directly install one Python distribution called which one? Anaconda. If you install the Anaconda, it will install which software? Python software will be installed. Yes, and it install all the libraries belongs to data science. So it is a distribution which is used by data science and AI people. It is a distribution used by data science and what? AI people. Understood? Right? Yes. So pip install pandas. Sorry, pip install pandas, or you can install directly Anaconda. Okay, right? Yeah, this you give at the command prompt. What is a Jupyter notebook? It is a tool. It is a web-based application, web application. What is a Jupyter notebook? It is a web application. Where it is open? Jupyter notebook is opened in what? Browser. Anything you run in the browser is called which application? Web application. So Jupyter notebook is which application? Web application. Now this is a front end, right? Is it this is a web page or not? Yes. Here you are writing the code. You are writing the code and when you run, this is sent to what? Backend. Backend is what? Server. Jupyter server is there here. This is Jupyter server. देखो ये क्या है बैकएंड में कुछ रन हो रहा ना which application is running server application. Now this server application what it is required, what it is required, Python software. Server application what it is required, Python software. And server application what it is required, libraries. Yes. Now is it this both are installed in the same system or different system? Same system. अरे जुपिटर पांडास अलग अलग नको करो यार. Jupyter notebook is a tool. It is a web application or it is a notebook where you write the Python programs. You write a Python programs. Don't we should not say can I write pandas, numpy? No. You can write a Python program means anything you can write it. ऐसे नहीं बोलना मैं numpy इसमें लिखना, pandas उसमें लिखना. हाँ? Editors are used for writing code here. Yes or no? Abhi, when I tell in the class, right? We'll see functions in PyCharm. Then mind में एक ही रहता है लोग स्टूडेंट को functions PyCharm में करना, numpy Jupyter notebook में करना, pandas Google Colab में करना. अरे VS Code Django you have to write only in VS Code. ये पूरा पाइथन प्रोग्राम सी है यार. नोटपैड में भी लिखो, कुछ होता है क्या? Will write in notepad, will it something will happen? No. नोटपैड में लिख के कहाँ पे एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं आप? कमांड प्रॉम्प्ट करना. ऑल दिस आर पाइथन एडिटर्स. ऐसे नहीं कि इधर वो ही लिखना उधर वो लिखना बल्कि कुछ नहीं है. एनी पाइथन एडिटर कैन बी यूज्ड टू राइट द पाइथन कोड. अभी वो समझ में नहीं आते मेरे को. ओके राइट. Yes, most of the data analysts or data scientists, they'll use what? Jupyter notebook only. And they use Jupyter or they use what? Colab. Google Colab. They may use Google Colab also, yes. वही बोला फिर बोल रहे थे अनवर भाई. हाँ, फिर बोल रहे नो देव कैन वी डू इट इन कोलैब सर? किसी में भी करो यार, स्पाइडर बोल के बहुत सारे है ना, किधर भी करो आप, पाइथन कोड लिखना बस उतना है। हाँ, सो ऐसे नहीं सोचना कि इधर ही लिखना ये नोट। अभी आइडियली देखो यार, आइडियली में, हाँ आइडियली में पांडास लिखते हैं क्या? कैन यू डू पांडास इन आइडियली? यस और नो? यस, डोंट से नो। हाँ, नो बोलो तो फिर अभी तक जो बोला वो पूरा खत्म। हाँ, यस, anywhere you can do it, but environment. Yes or no? The environment, what you are using it for developing projects, you require a specific environment or not? Yes. So the person who work with the person who work with data science, he represent everything in one book. पूरा प्रोजेक्ट एक बुक में लिख के शेयर कर देता है ना? Yes or no? He'll share it. After analyzing, he should share all the things, right? How he share it? He just shared which one? Notebook. But you are not generating any binary code. Executable code you are not generating. You are just sharing what? Notebook. Getting or not? You are sharing the notebook, or the notebook may contain the outputs. You'll try to open the notebook and start explaining it. Now this is a data and this is how I did all the things. But if it is a project, suppose I'm developing a game. Game is, you should write a program and then you should generate which code? Binary code. Executable code or not? Yes. And you don't give which code? Source code. You give which code? Binary code. But the business analyst, what is doing is trying to explain all the data. Then the data and everything, you should explain it from here, where he get the data. Now this is the data and how did this analysis, all the things you should explain it. Then it is in the form of what? Notebook. It is in the form of notebook. Understood? Right? So it is completely different. Anyway, we'll talk about this, like how to work with pandas. So you understood? So NumPy for data analysis.